Hi friends, welcome back to playing tribute to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. We are at the end game, folks. Well, the end case. We're not really at the end game. We've just started. We've barely been we've barely started really. We're not even in trial yet. We're in trial now. We're gonna hit the scene here in court as Mr. Miles Edgeworth here for the defense. Last time we got a little bit of information about what happened. We found we broke some psyche locks, which Edgeworth was not a big fan of at all. So much so that when Larry started being a little more tight-lipped about things, Edgeworth just was like, "I'm dragging you to court. This is ridiculous." So here we are in court. So hopefully we find out a little bit more about what happened, and we find out a little bit more about what Larry knows, because that was a whole thing, something that he saw. So I'm going to take this time to remind you also that I have played this case once, which means that I know everything that happens, but I don't remember the intricate details. And I am always bound to jump ahead in logic because of that, or jump ahead in knowledge. So, take that for a warning. But anyway, let's jump on in. I was going to start by looking through the court record, because I'm actually remembering to do that. The only reason I'm remembering to do that is because it's actually been a while since I recorded. I was also going to mention that I forgot all of the voices that I've been using, but also, that's a great line. So, we've got Nick's attorney's badge. Apparently he was serious. Good job, Edgeworth. Of course. What utter nonsense. Not that you've seen it in action. Alright, so we've got the staff, which, I remember last time we were talking about that orb that was on it is gone. And maybe that picture that we have will help us. Here's the Shishichicho. I'm never going to be able to pronounce that, sorry. The murder weapon. The apparent murder weapon. Misty Faye, of course. Edgeworth has his feelings about that particular problem. Iris's hood, she gave it to Wright before he came running for Maya, so something about protecting from evil spirits. Yes, that I remember now. Yeah, Larry wrote a little blackmail letter to her. It's great. Yeah, he scared her half to death. Temple map, so we know where everything's at. We, of course, know our Eagle River. The weather, that's right. There was a big storm. Lights went out. Not lights went out. Power, wait. Electricity? Lightning bolt? Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt struck Dusky Ridge. I was about to say, lights couldn't go out. There aren't any electricity up here. It's all, old-fashioned and stuff. No. Dusky Bridge was struck, that's right. That's why the fire started there. This was what first brought, Nick to the place. I don't know whether that's very important at all. Here's our photo of Elise. There's the orb on her staff. I don't know whether that's going to be important in court. Iris' testimony is that she rang the lights out bell and then was in her room until the murder was discovered. So, she, denies being the one to kill her, obviously. Stabbed. Oh, fell 10 feet after death. That was important because we saw that area where she could have fallen from. Alright, let me see if I can remember all the voices. And we've already wasted enough time going through all that. Oh my, Mr. Loris feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Lurie's is the witness today? No. I believe that nun will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time, it really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donim, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well, then. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes. You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry. I've taken the necessary steps. You have? Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what a friend of mine told me once. Mr. Edgeworth. You may pass judgment on me from the defendant's chair. You are the one to decide whether or not I am able to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. This case makes me nervous. I think I'm feeling Edgeworth's nerves here. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such blatant waste of this court's time. Oh, if you recall, Edgeworth said that he found a judge that had only seen him once. So, of course, we have our judge from 7 years ago. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it has a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant... Objection! Did you miss her? The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before, or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Ms. von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't, but I'm sure. Once before in this courtroom. Ah! I told you, there is no such weakling. Thanks, Franziska. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip. Hold it! I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. So he does know about Godot now. I guess he's heard some things. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. I thought it said historic for a while there. Allow me to add to things I am not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Yeah, this is a weird start to the case. Ah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. This is such a weird beginning of a court trial. I've been away for too long, too. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Stoneham. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. I don't think we've seen this picture yet. Interesting. Okay, is there anything important? She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture. It is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Okay, yeah, let me look at that again, really quickly. Try not to waste too much time here. These trial parts tend to take a while. Yeah, I don't see anything odd, necessarily. There's no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. Alright, so no show of the detective. Just right away into the attack. On the offensive. And so it begins. My first and my last trial as a defense attorney. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for witnesses with bad backs. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of the Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name's Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. I think that was close to what I had her voice before. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Yeah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in the summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. I'll just hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your boot. That's right, I forgot, he's Canadian. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back legs sacked up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I'd finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. Okay, so she hasn't gotten to the actual moment of the crime yet. But we do know that Iris has denied ever going to the inner temple. So that's weird. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in such much pain, I would have stayed in the inner temple. It sounds like a pretty important statement you just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at first hurdle. Now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Okay, this is referring to Maya. Always press everything. I mean, that's just the rule. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes might spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It's all quite exacting? Is this supposed to say exciting? Oh no, it is exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Okay. Like a tutor, watching to make sure the spoiled child studies. Tutor with a whip, in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Well, as you can see, my back legs acts up violently. Okay, we don't need to know that. Okay, this is the problem. You left Iris to help with what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. That's just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolytes so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the Inner Temple, correct? Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Okay, so that was the problem. Was that to do with the testimony? Yeah. So she was not there. Okay. I wasn't sure if it started that easy. I'm so scared. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, well, well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of the Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights-out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the Inner Temple at all. No! She said that? A defendant or a witness? Who's more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the Inner Temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Ah! All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect. Crystal clear. Especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. It's naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination. Okay. Oh, well that's not true. Right, can I just throw this out there now? Witness, let's get one thing straight. This defendant, whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course! And that is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Objection! Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights-out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, the defendant couldn't have been wearing this very hood. Well, well, well! There are 2 crates. She's using 2 crates. It's not a bad feeling. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court! Witness, you're... Sister. This hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. Surplus of hoods, huh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Wah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness. While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. After my bath. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was... Oh, Mystic Elise. And with that sword of all things. That was not even a sentence. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Okay, well that definitely wasn't, true, because we saw that she died, or she fell after her death. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from the chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look to the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Alright, so we are aware. Here's what I need. I need to know... I know that that's wrong. This is a wrong statement. However, before I get into that, I want to press a couple things. You say you heard a noise. Thump! Just like that. And that could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump! Just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that. The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please don't keep us in suspense. Her hood! Her hood? That's right. It's coming back to me. She wasn't wearing her hood. Well, that's not good for me. Thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Yeah, that's not great. Ha! You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. Yeah, I suppose it's important. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Wow. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problemo. Iris didn't have her hood on. Okay. But this is the problem that I have. What makes you so sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard. Okay? Thump. Just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Yes, but when the fall took place is important. Witness is not mistaken. Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple. Yeah, you said that already. There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miss Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? Doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instance in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client Iris and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Okay. Right, yeah, she fell after death. Okay, I'm not crazy. Right? Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do! My brain is something else. Especially in winter. Why is everything especially in winter? However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at this autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. Ah! That's right, it says after death right there. So maybe Iris was seen trying to take the sword out of her? The scene that the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order. The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was thrown out the window down to the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle on Miss Donim's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found in my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that— Ah! I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true, with the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion, then. The victim was thrown out of the window, with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order. I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition in your part and tell us only the truth, please. Witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape. Especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. a feeling that Gumshoe is. I just figured that she'd set Gumshoe on the task. With the whip. Oh boy! Alright, alright. Alright, this will be interesting. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Think about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. Oh, so maybe she was trying to pull it out. I've never seen so much blood before. And that's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I woke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. Okay. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Francisca Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Alright, the sword was already in place. Didn't actually see her stab. Never seen so much blood before. Okay. So she... So you're saying... Sorry. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood. That's right. Some of it has splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Always press further. Unless there's a health bar clicking. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. That's the one. Yep. Pulling the sword out. Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add the statement to your testimony. Was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt. Plunged into the hilt? I'm sorry. What? I don't think so. I just, no, absolutely not. I'm gonna throw that right at her. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. Yeah, I didn't even think of the whole removed it smoothly thing, too, being impossible. Right, he was saying to explain yourself, but of course Francisca will interrupt and ask the same thing. Explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. It doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble? I too may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. Okay. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed to the body, through the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... Also, I was talking about the blood stain not being all the way up there, but go on. There it is, okay. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shishichu. Shishichu. I'm sorry, we can't take the character seriously if they can't say the words. I apologize for your sake, Francisca. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. Again, blood not all the way up to the hilt. I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more. This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Thank you, that was my point. But I'm glad that he's got backup points. That's, good for him. He's really helping with the persuasion here. Always good to have more backup. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order! Ah! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. Yeah, that's Edgeworth for you. We only have 1 point. Edgeworth uses it to make 3. Was it more than 3? All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage 1, if that. Yes, yeah, thank you. But what does all this mean? You've proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can be only one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shishichicho. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Ah, we've missed her. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, then the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That's what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shishichicho was the murder weapon. I really did look up how to say it. Shishishito. Order! Ah! So maybe the Shishishito... Shishito? Oh, now I don't even know if it's right. Was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. This is why it's a visual novel, and you're supposed to read the text, and nobody's speaking in this particular one. There's voice acting in later, in like the more recent releases, but... oh boy. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Also, I'm way too distracted with the name of the sword that I'm not paying any attention to what's actually being said here. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. Uh-oh. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Interesting. Another mystery to throw into the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe... I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Is she gonna say that it was thrown into the river? Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? He said odd, right? Not old? Saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. Snowmobile, I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. It looks like they're just tracks that come that way, though. Tracks begin in front of the Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Okay, so while I was being distracted, yeah, it really looks like it's just going in one direction. Anyway, while I was being distracted, they have agreed that the Shishishi toe is not the murder weapon, but there is a murder weapon that was disposed of. Well, then the question just goes, like, why not just dispose of the body, too? But I don't think that the game's gonna get into that. Okay, saw the murder around 11 p.m. Cool. Wait, I think this is our trick. Oh, I think this is it. Okay. Snow. Okay. The fact that the snow was falling until 10 to 11 made it so that the tracks, any tracks, would be covered. So that means that the snowmobile would have already had to be at the bridge at that point. Now I just have to prove it. After asking to be reported, went out to the main gate, and there I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. Okay, the problem is... yeah, they couldn't have gone and then come back. They could have come back. They had to have come back after the snow. Oh gosh, how do I prove that? Hold it. Refresh our memory, how long were you knocked out? Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles? Edgeworth. Sorry, she calls by the full name. How do I prove it? In this case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. There's a reason for that. Have you got a moment for me to explain? If it's helpful. I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. That's an awful sound. Haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Okay, that wasn't helpful. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now you're certain the snowmobile was out there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course! It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Press further, because I need to find an opening. I need answers to every possible doubt. Snowmobile in question. It was still warm at that time. Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it is still warm, then it means it was recently used. I see, I never thought of that. Yes, that's right, I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow. Yeah, for some reason, only a snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses. Seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile, huh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? Okay. Well, it would have been possible time-wise. One element remains out of place here. And what would the sinister element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma. Ah! Turning to me for help over the slightest thing? Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed to the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there's surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Alright, let's keep going. Let's press everything. You're sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it, after all. Why was that? Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of the year, especially in the winter. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Your estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. And asking it was reported, I went to the main gate. You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right! The one who trampled me. It seems she's the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him? He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back, so I thought I'd go on by the main gate for a spell. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. And we've already been through this. And it was warm. So my point stands. I just need to figure out how. Oh, that's such a terrible sound. That is not a crunch sound. That's like too liquidy for that. Oh, yikes. Okay. I have pressed everything I could. I have to present something. I think I need to present the picture where it says that. Right? Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Yeah, no, that's not it. Oh, wait, okay, hold on.
What about the weather report when she says that? Right? Because snow... Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I know, it's a rough area, this side of the courtroom. Oh my gosh. Came back while I was knocked out. Is this where I put the picture? Should I start saving before I do anything? There it is. Okay. Cool. Whatever. You know, it's fine. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. No! You're right! You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? Yes, there is. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. Now I show the weather! On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by the snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary. Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Well, I mean, they were. It's just a matter of the timing. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for the Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order. Very well, then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this, then. When is the weather report ever correct? After the fact? No, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true. We cannot be totally sure. What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing on Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. We've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubts to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well, then, Mr. Edgeworth.
Where's your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Well, it would be the picture, right? Because there's no snow on the victim. There's no snow on the victim. Take that! Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow. There's just one exception, and that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donin. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order. And just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were gone. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the Inner Temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross a suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near the Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible. Order in the court. What does all this mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the Inner Temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks at this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've arrived at this point due to the witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. Well then. That still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, eh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out in that subarctic night. Your Honor, I actually have an idea. There may be one individual able to help us. Let's pull him to the stand! Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are? First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, him being an idiot. This individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside in that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Pull him to the stand! Pull him to the stand! This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de la Duc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, the student of the victim, Miss Elise Dunham. Her student, interesting. Why was he wandering on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man... Oh, that's right, Franziska hasn't met him, because he wasn't in the second game. What exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in the courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I've no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery of this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. This is gonna be fun. We are ready to pull Larry out to the stand. Let's do it. I don't really have anything else to say but that. So I'll talk to you guys later.